Mama hasn't eaten and she's collapsed. I received an urgent SOS from my 6-year-old granddaughter, who lives with my daughter and her husband. Her desperate call left me stunned. Mama had shared her own food with me, so she hadn't eaten anything herself. Grandma, come quick. Help. My granddaughter's message was frantic, saying that my daughter could only moan weakly and seemed barely able to speak. I grabbed my car keys, praying for my daughter's safety, and rushed out of the house. What I found when I arrived was beyond anything I had prepared for. My name is Wendy, and I'm a 65-year-old housewife. Since my husband, who was 5 years older than me, passed away 2 years ago, I've been living alone in our now overly spacious home. Thanks to an inheritance from him and my own savings from working until I turned 60, I have no financial worries. My only daughter, Holly, is married and lives about an hour away with her husband. The highlights of my life are their occasional visits, especially when they bring my granddaughter, Lynn. After Holly graduated from university, she moved to Paris to pursue a career fueled by her passion for the French language. There she met Ted, who was working for an international company. They married and eventually returned to the United States. Once back, Holly chose to become a full-time homemaker to support Ted, and soon after, they welcomed their daughter, Lynn. Ted graduated from a prestigious university and now works for a leading tire company, which gives him an elite status, though he has faced many challenges along the way. His father struggled with job stability, frequently changing positions, which put a strain on their finances. Ted's mother worked part-time but didn't contribute significantly to the household income. Holly mentioned this hesitantly, suggesting that Ted's parents had unconventional approaches to work. Despite this, Ted was determined to improve his circumstances. He pursued his education with dedication, earning scholarships and working part-time to support himself. His hard work has earned him Holly's deep respect. Ted is committed to ensuring that Lynn doesn't face the same struggles he did. He is determined to save money and provide her with the freedom to choose her own path. She described him as a warm-hearted person. While it might seem self-serving to praise my own daughter, Holly truly is bright and kind-hearted. She has a good relationship with Ted, even though his parents are somewhat unconventional. Lynn has been growing up happily, and I had no cause for concern. However, there was a moment when I sensed something was wrong with Holly. It was when Lynn was 4 years old. During one of their visits, Holly appeared unusually drained. I asked, "What's wrong? You look pale. Are you feeling unwell, or is something bothering you?" "Well, there's a small concern," Holly admitted. She had been sending $700 a month to Ted's financially struggling parents, but they had recently asked for more without Ted knowing. It turns out my father-in-law had quit his job again. "That's troubling. It's challenging for just you and Ted to bear this burden," I said. Holly wanted to save money for Lynn's future, but it was becoming difficult with the ongoing financial support for her in-laws. She considered getting a job, but Ted had told her, "I often go on business trips, so I prefer you stay with Lynn. I want to support my parents since they're family, but I'm worried about how long we can sustain this situation." Hearing this, I felt uneasy and somewhat doubtful. I considered how I might assist and shared my idea with Ted. To my surprise, he welcomed the suggestion and agreed without hesitation. I was relieved at the time, but things didn't go as smoothly as hoped. 2 years later, a new issue emerged. Ted was assigned to work abroad, and would be stationed there alone. His parents, concerned about Holly and Lynn managing on their own, proposed that they all move in together. Though Ted wanted to respect Holly's wishes, his parents' insistence made it difficult for her to refuse. Consequently, they decided to live together for the year until Ted's return. Knowing the challenges Holly had faced with her in-laws, I made it a point to stay in regular contact and check on her. "It's okay. My father-in-law's new job seems to have a good environment. It might work out this time, and since Ted helped him find it, that's a positive sign." Despite her reassurance, a mother's intuition, or whatever you might call it, told me that something was off with Holly's tone. Then communication from her abruptly ceased. I tried reaching out multiple times, but all I got were voicemails and no replies. After 6 months of Ted being away, I finally managed to reconnect with Holly. "Hello, Holly. I'm relieved to finally get through. Summer is almost over. How are you doing?" "I'm fine. I was hoping you and Lynn would visit during the summer vacation." "Mom, I'm sorry. We've been really busy. I need to go now. I'll talk to you later." Wait, but before I could say more, the call abruptly ended. Holly's voice had sounded noticeably less upbeat. "What's going on, Holly?" I haven't seen you in over 6 months. Are you both really okay? My anxiety grew, and I realized I couldn't wait any longer. Just then, an unexpected call came through from Holly's phone. Mom doesn't have any food and she's collapsed. The distressed voice of my granddaughter, Lynn, came through the line. Lynn, what's happening? I asked urgently. Mom gave her food to me, so she hasn't eaten anything. Grandma, please come help us. From the tearful voice on the phone, I could tell Holly was exhausted and struggling to communicate. Are there any adults around, like Grandpa or Grandma? If they find out I called, I'll be in trouble, Lynn said. That's when I recalled what Holly had mentioned. She had taught Lynn how to use her cell phone and delete the call history, so Lynn could expose the situation to Holly's in-laws if needed. Hold on, I'm on my way, I said, telling Lynn to stay somewhere safe. I quickly drove to the in-laws' house, my heart racing. Holly, I'm coming. As I drove, tears streamed down my face. I was filled with guilt for not realizing the situation sooner and seething with anger toward Holly's in-laws. What have they done to my precious daughter and granddaughter? I'll never forgive them. Fueled by my anger, I pressed the accelerator harder. When I arrived at the in-laws' house, I rang the doorbell, but there was no immediate response. After repeatedly pressing the button, a voice finally answered. Why are you ringing so much? Who is it? I'm Holly's mother. What? You didn't give any notice. Why are you here? It was clear Holly's father-in-law was surprised and hesitant to come to the door. I'm sorry for the unexpected visit, but I need to see Holly. May I come in? No. Holly and Lynn aren't here. Go home. I know they're here. Is there another reason you're not letting me in? Enough. Don't come back. Just then, a deep voice resonated from behind me. Before I could react, a man appeared in front of me. That voice, could it be? I heard sounds of movement from inside the house, and the front door opened to reveal a stunned father-in-law. Boss, what are you doing here? The man was the CEO of the company where Holly's father-in-law worked. After learning about the in-laws' financial demands from Holly, I had taken action discreetly. Without informing Holly, I reached out to Ted and introduced him to a company run by an old friend of mine. I wanted Holly's father-in-law to find employment there and achieve financial independence. The CEO, understating my requests, hired him under favorable conditions. To avoid any gratitude, I kept my connection with the CEO confidential, asking both Ted and the CEO to do the same. Sensing something was wrong after the earlier call, I contacted the CEO, and we rushed over together. The CEO said, I'm here to speak with you. Let me in, and walked into the in-laws' home. The father-in-law stood there, stunned and speechless, as I tried to follow. Holly's mother-in-law emerged from a room and blocked my path. You have no right to come in. The CEO quickly countered, No, she's with me. The in-laws appeared visibly shaken and terrified. Grandma, over here. Help Mommy, Lynn's voice called out urgently. At that moment, Lynn rushed over and tugged at my hand. Lynn, you become so skinny. I noticed that my granddaughter looked much more gaunt than the last time I had seen her. Before I could voice my concern, Lynn urgently guided me towards the back of the house, leading me to a storage room under the stairs. Holly, in a place like this? I quickly opened the door and gasped in shock and sorrow. There inside the dimly lit room was my emaciated daughter Holly. Mom, Holly murmured with drowsy eyes and tears streaming down her face. I gripped her frail hand tightly. I'm so relieved you're okay. Lynn told me you'd collapsed. We need to get you to a doctor right away. As I gently tried to lift Holly, the CEO stepped in to help. She doesn't need to see a doctor. Given her condition, are you really sure about that? We haven't done anything wrong, I responded, concerned. Liars, Mom always worked hard while you both just relaxed. You only gave her a small amount of food, and she even gave her own portion to me. From a recent call with my granddaughter, I learned that since moving in together, Holly had been forced to handle all the household chores from morning till night, like a servant. Despite Holly's efforts to please what she thought were her beloved husband's parents, they criticized her relentlessly. They complained about her cooking, her cleaning, and her parenting. They punished her by cutting back her meals and would say, if you can't do things properly, you belong in the storeroom. They even confiscated her mobile phone, purse, and bank book. Whenever she protested, they threatened to harm Lynn. I was horrified to discover this. Holly was enduring this abuse with her already limited food further reduced, all for Lynn's sake. Overwhelmed by constant unjust criticism and suffering from physical and mental exhaustion, Holly was unable to think clearly. Why are you acting like the victim? We only scolded her a little. This is a serious matter. She could be in a life-threatening condition. I intend to get a medical report. Don't exaggerate. Stay out of our family matters. It's a new. Holly is my cherished daughter, and so is Lynn. I can forgive you for what you've done to them. At that moment, Holly, clearly exhausted, suddenly broke down in tears. Mom, please stop. I'm afraid Ted will hate me. Holly, did he say something to you? He said he'd leave me and stop providing financial support. That's strange. I just spoke with Ted, and he mentioned that he's been sending $3,500 every month. At this revelation, the defiant expressions of my in-laws shifted to visible anxiety. It looks like you've been keeping the money Ted sent Holly for yourselves. You've been deceiving everyone. Does this mean the rumor about Ted having another girlfriend is also false? How could you drive Holly to this point? I will never forgive you for this. At that moment, the sound of the ambulance sirens approached, and the CEO went outside to direct the paramedics. As soon as he was out of sight, my father-in-law's demeanor shifted dramatically, and he gave me a cold, piercing stare. It's our son's money. Naturally, we have the right to use it. There's no reason for us to give it to a daughter-in-law like you. If you can't accept that, you should take the child and leave. So, this is why you've been harassing me almost every day, isn't it? Did you hear that, Ted? I spoke into my smartphone. I was on a call with Holly's husband, Ted, and relaying every word his parents were saying. What are you talking about? I turned the smartphone screen towards the in-laws with the speakerphone on. I will never forgive you for what you've done to my beloved family, my wife and child. I'm cutting off all support from now on. Ted's voice was filled with anger, and his parents could only tremble in response. My father-in-law bowed deeply towards the phone. Ted, I'm so sorry. We needed the money and didn't mean any harm. This isn't a joke. I'll be home soon, so be prepared. The CEO, returning with the paramedics, added sternly, There's no point in keeping such a ruthless man employed. I brought him in for Wendy's sake, but he's been a disappointment. Upon hearing this, the in-laws immediately shifted their demeanor, bowing and apologizing profusely to me. We apologize for how we've treated Holly. We're struggling financially and desperately need your help. Could you please talk to Ted and the CEO on our behalf? You must be joking. How can I forgive you? I'm reporting everything to the police. As I watched the paramedics carefully place Holly onto a stretcher, I offered a reassuring smile to my granddaughter. Lynn, you did wonderfully. You saved your mom. We'll go to the hospital now, and then we can rest at Grandma's house. Thank you, Grandma. At the hospital, both my daughter and granddaughter were diagnosed with malnutrition. Lynn was discharged the same day, but Holly, deeply traumatized, needed to be hospitalized for further treatment. Ted returned briefly to be with his wife and daughter, and his presence helped restore Lynn's smile and brought signs of recovery to Holly. I felt a profound sense of relief. As for the in-laws, they faced legal consequences after a thorough police investigation. The CEO had recorded their actions, which confirmed severe abuse. Since their home was rented, they were evicted, and a claim for $47,000 was filed, $30,000 for embezzlement, and $17,000 for damages. Thanks to my connections with the CEO and reliable childhood friends, the in-laws will be required to repay the amount by working at a specific factory after their prison term. For now, the three of us are enjoying a peaceful time together, eagerly awaiting Ted's return. Once he's back, we plan to move in together at my place. I'm looking forward to a brighter future, supporting my daughter and son-in-law, and cherishing the joyful moments with my granddaughter.